Hi everyone, it's Adrian. Welcome back to ALTERKNIT. I'm really excited for this video today because I've got a finished project to show you. And I know I almost never have a finished object to show you. And I'm using a different company of yarn this time, which is Bijou Basin Ranch. And they actually sent me a skein of yarn to review. So that's what I knit this project up in. So stay tuned and I'll show you that in a second. I actually opened this package off camera, and I know you can smack me on the wrist for doing that, but I really couldn't wait to see what these guys had sent me. I ordered their Lhasa Wilderness, which is actually a light fingering weight yarn, and it's 75% yak, 25% bamboo. And I have used neither of those two fiber types before, so I was really excited to get it. And this is the skein of yarn that they sent me, and it's in a really awesome color. And it's called Scarlet, and this is dyed by MJ Yarns. So my immediate impression is that it's just so soft. I mean, I didn't really know what to expect from yak. I know that I've researched different yarn type or different fiber types for you guys before for a previous video, which I'll link down in the description about all different fiber types. So I knew what to expect from yak on a theoretical basis, but it's just so soft. And I can already tell that it's gonna have great drape. So I was really excited to work with this. But they didn't just send me this skein of yarn. There were some other goodies in the pack too. The first was this really super cute pin, and I stupidly thought that it was a knitting cow. It's of course a knitting yak. These guys are in Colorado and they have a ranch full of Tibetan yaks. And their whole deal is that they want to create really good quality yarns from yak fiber and blending it with other quality fibers as well. What was really cute was they also sent a packet of perennial butterfly garden mix. And so this is for some flowers, which was really cool. It's a seed packet and it's got Shasta Daisy, Black-Eyed Susan, and Purple Coneflower. And I know what none of those are. They also sent me a very large Bijou Basin Ranch sticker, but something that I'm really excited to try that they sent was actually some sample packets of their Allure wash. Now, I didn't know too much about this wool wash at first, but I did look into it and apparently it's a rinse-free. So if you're like me and you block with some kind of product to soften the wool, you'll know that you have to sort of soak it in that wash, then you have to take the project out, drain the water, add in fresh water, rinse out the wash that you've put in, and if you're pedantic like me and you don't want anything left in the project, you probably wash it 2 or 3 times, and it's a bit of a pain in the backside. This apparently is just one step. You soak the project in it, and then you don't need to rinse it out, which is great. So I was really excited to try this as well. Okay, so it's about a month later. I've had a haircut, I've lost and gained some weight. It's become winter, and now it's kind of rainy and dark behind me. But I went away and I knit this with the skein of the Bijou Basin Ranch yarn. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about this pattern today. It is a lace beanie. It was quite a fun knit, especially with this yarn. And I actually had quite a bit of the skein left over, so it's a 1 skein project, which is awesome. First things first in this review, and it's the fiber. Now, I've already talked about this briefly in the beginning, and it's 75% Tibetan yak, as well as 25% bamboo. Now, this is one of, if not the first blend that I've used. And it's really interesting because blended yarns will allow you to sort of combine the properties of different fibers, and that adds to, you know, a greater whole than the sum of its parts. And that's definitely what I found with this particular yarn. With regards to production, there's not a lot of information on the website about how this yarn is produced, but it's very clear that it is a worsted spun yarn, so it's nice and smooth. And it has quite a strong twist to it as well. Now, this is a premium yarn product, so the price is a little bit higher. It currently has it listed as $29 USD on the website, but they actually have a sale going at the moment, and I think you get about $9 off the price of a skein. That may not be with all colorways, but head to their website and have a look at that. With purchasing, you can buy this yarn online at the Bijou Basin Ranch website, and I noticed that it's also available at yarn.com. That it may be stocked in some local yarn stores. I couldn't find a list of those when I quickly checked the website. I didn't deal directly with Bijou Basin Ranch, so I can't really make a comment on the customer service. I do know that I got the yarn in about 2 to 3 weeks from ordering, which for me here in Australia is pretty standard. So in terms of the product itself, I've got my phone here because I need to know these numbers. It's actually a 250 yard or a 229 meter long product. It weighs, it's a strange weight. It's 2.7 ounces or about 76.5 gram skeins. And I know that the put up, or these dimensions, the size and the weight, have actually been increased by Bijou Basin Ranch yarn by about 35%. And I don't actually think the price changed as a result of that, which is awesome. How this product feels in the skein is incredible. It's very soft, it's very lightweight, and it feels incredibly drapey. And you can see from the finished product that it's got quite a lot of drape to it, which is really nice. And there's a lot of projects that you would knit wanting to have drape like this. So I'll just pop that back on. And this was just totally different to what I had been using before, which was more sort of rustic and woolen spun yarns. So this was a really nice reprieve. I don't have an umbrella and Swift, so everything I get I wind by hand. And I think I've mentioned before that I feel like this gives me a really good long introduction to what this yarn feels like and how it might behave when I work with it. Winding this yarn was actually very easy and very pleasant experience. It wasn't too sticky, but it wasn't too slippery either. It felt very strong and I wasn't really able to break it by hand, and I think that's owing to the strength that bamboo fiber shows. When it comes to knots and vegetable matter, I kind of have limited experience with this because I only used the one skein, but I didn't actually encounter any knots or any vegetable matter at all. In terms of gauge, and I'm using my phone again, this is a fingering weight yarn and it has 16 wraps per inch, which is a light sport weight. And the suggested needle size is a US 4 to 5 to achieve 6 stitches per inch. However, it does have quite a lot of spring to it. It's not a very restrictive yarn, so I think there is a bit of flexibility in the gauge that you can achieve with this product. In terms of knitting with Bijou Basin Ranch Lhasa Wilderness, it was really pleasant to knit with. The yak fiber is incredibly soft, and I've obviously never used this before, but it was very easy to knit with, had no problems at all. And as I said, the bamboo, it's very shiny, as bamboo tends to be, but it's also very strong as well. So I didn't have to worry about being gentle with this yarn, which for me is quite good when knitting lace projects because things can get a little bit frustrating and I can probably tense up with the fiber, and there was no problems with breakage. And it didn't fight against my hand. Bamboo on its own is not very stretchy, which to me would be like knitting with cotton, but combined with the yak fiber, it did actually give it a bit of springiness. With regard to projects, this is a very versatile product because it does combine animal fiber, which is going to give warmth and softness, and it combines plant fiber, which is breathable and strong. So I think really you can use Lhasa Wilderness to knit for any season. And as I said before, if you're wanting to knit a project with quite a bit of drape in it, this is a good option. Okay, now onto washing and blocking. There have been some comments that the colors in this yarn bleed quite a bit with washing, and I did notice that, but I didn't notice that it was any more than any other yarn brand that I've used before. I do normally wash with hair conditioner. As I mentioned earlier though, Bijou Basin Ranch did send me some samples of Allure, their rinse-free wash, so I chose to wash this hat in that, and it was quite effective. I mean, it was a soft product before I washed it and it was still soft afterwards. It did lose a little bit of color to the water, but I don't think that affected the overall color of the product, so it wasn't really much of an issue for me. I did find out about the bleeding from Ravelry, and I've said it before, I think it's really important to check out potential yarns on Ravelry. People will give it a rating, and Lhasa Wilderness from Bijou Basin Ranch has a rating of 4.7 stars out of 5, which is a pretty excellent rating, and this is, I think, 271 votes. And there are 813 projects that you can search on Ravelry and actually see what this yarn is capable of knitting up. So I think it's always a really important thing. And the comments on Ravelry are mainly positive. One person did comment about the product being made in China. The fiber for the yarn is sourced mainly from the ranch in Colorado, but the website states that they do use some fiber and they do outsource some of the production to other countries. Bijou Basin Ranch responded to this person and said that the US, they dictate the rules about labeling this product, recognize Tibet as part of China, therefore it needs to be labeled as made in China. Okay, so it's time for my final thoughts, and I think there's gonna be no surprises here, but I really like this yarn and I would recommend it to anybody. If you're looking for a worsted spun yarn in a light fingering sport weight that has great drape and great strength and is very soft in a range of really nice colors, this is a product for you to try. I chose the color Scarlet, which was dyed by MJ Yarns, and it is, I would sort of describe it as a vintage red or a retro red. It's kind of a faded, muted red, and it's quite tonal, but it's very subtle. So when knitting this up, I could see there were deeper, more cherry tones, as well as some brighter red tones as well, but very, very subtle. However, there are some variegated yarns, there are some solid colors, there are even some tartans, and I was reading the color information for the tartans, and they describe having a brown-based yarn that was over-dyed with very bright colors, which gave an end result of having some subtle tartan-esque colors, and I'd be really interested to try those. So head over to their website, bijoubasinranch.com, check out their range of yarns. I only reviewed Lhasa Wilderness, but they have a great variety of different yarns with some other stranger fibers or fibers that are strange to me, like Kiviat, I think that's how you pronounce it, and I don't even know what that is. So head over there, check out their yarns, Lhasa Wilderness, Bijou Basin Ranch, thumbs up from me, and that's it for this review. I will see you next time. I haven't forgotten about the question that I asked you on my last video, which was, who are the designers that inspire you? And boy, you guys are inspired by a lot of different creators. So I think I'm going to have to feature this in several different videos because there's quite a lot to get through. But I've been really enjoying looking up the designers that you guys respond really well to. So have a great day, and I will see you next time. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do so you don't miss any videos that I upload. Stay cool, stay safe. See you next time. Bye.